Today on Bridge City News, a house fire in Nobleford, Alberta has tragically claimed the life of a 27-year-old man. Pope Francis is using his visit to Japan to advocate for a nuclear-free world. And we will take a look at how local churches are responding to the heavy flooding this week in northern England.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Paul Arthur.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. RCMP and the Coaldale Fire Department are investigating a fatal residential fire in the southern Alberta town of Nobleford. Saturday morning, a passerby noticed smoke coming from a house and called the fire department. A 27-year-old man perished inside the house. There were no other occupants in the house at the time. RCMP are asking anyone with information to contact the Coaldale RCMP. Meanwhile, RCMP in Oyen, Alberta are searching for thieves who used a truck to smash through the entrance of a convenience store and then stole the ATM early yesterday morning. The theft was captured on security video and caused structural damage to the Debmart Cafe and convenience store. After the suspects took the cash machine, they returned and grabbed cigarettes and lottery tickets. The truck was later found in a rural area, burned out, but witnesses say they left that area driving a dark-colored Dodge Ram truck that was pulling a white enclosed trailer. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. There's more evidence of the downturn of the oil sector in Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. Sales of Crown drilling rights have plunged across all three provinces. The rights are necessary for energy exploration on land where mineral rights are held by the province. So far, auctions in Alberta are on track for a record low. Some experts blame the trend on insufficient pipeline space. An unusual case in Guelph, Ontario, where a man is facing charges after allegedly using soy sauce to vandalize a local business. Police say he hid in the company washroom earlier this week, waited until everyone had left, and broke open a safe. But then the suspect poured soy sauce over electronics equipment and on the walls and ceiling, causing $100,000 in damage. Soy vey. A well-known name has been added to the roster for the Democrats running for U.S. president. Michael Bloomberg is former New York City mayor and one of the richest men in the world. The 77-year-old announced his plans on his campaign website just 10 weeks before primary voting begins. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence made an unannounced visit to Iraq yesterday in what many view as an attempt to reassure Iraqi Kurds of American support despite the recent decision to withdraw U.S. troops from the northern regions of neighboring Syria.
I want to extend to you first and foremost the greetings and the respect of President Donald Trump. And I want to thank you, though, Mr. President, for making time for an important opportunity to discuss the enduring bond that exists between the Kurdish people and the people of the United States of America. We were able to capture the last inch of territory controlled by ISIS in Syria, and this would not have been possible without the extraordinary alliance and partnership.
Vice President Pence and his wife Karen also served a traditional Thanksgiving meal to American military personnel ahead of this Thursday's holiday. New electric vehicles and several new small SUVs are among the new models on display this week at the Los Angeles Auto Show. They include an all-electric Ford SUV that the automaker has branded as a Mustang.
That's the Mustang Mach-E. That's obviously the first time they've done something like that. You know, there's going to be some purists that say, well, an electric Mustang isn't a real Mustang, but I think at the same time, the name Ford Mustang has a lot of equity, a lot of meaning for American buyers, and given that they've promised a certain level of performance and the price is actually somewhat reasonable, given that it's all electric, I think it probably will be successful, but it's certainly kind of the buzz of this show. Years ago, the priority was, you always heard either about things like horsepower or fuel efficiency, that kind of thing. Let's just say a decade ago. The new version of that is definitely technology, and specifically safety technology. So features like lane departure warning. It lets you know if your car veers out of the lane. Forward collision warning, which tells you you're about to hit that car. And one step further, which is even a thing you can get today, forward collision intervention, which means that if you don't act, the car will start braking for you. Those are all super helpful pieces, in addition to, obviously, backup cameras are now required, but there's also warnings for when you're backing out of a parking space at the store. It will tell you a car is coming from the side. The car can see it even though you can't. So those kinds of things they are promoting because they know that it nets real world results and people respond to that.
Pope Francis is using his visit to Japan to push for a nuclear-free world, declaring the use and possession of atomic bombs an immoral crime and a dangerous waste. Standing at Hiroshima's Peace Memorial, Francis shook hands with and blessed a survivor of the atomic bombing. Many bombing survivors have expressed frustration with Japan's refusal to sign a global nuclear weapons ban treaty. Voting is over in Hong Kong's elections with a massive turnout. The Electoral Affairs Commission says 69% of the city's 4.1 million registered voters had cast ballots, as opposed to a total of only 47% in the same election 4 years ago. That is being taken as a sign of strong public support for anti-government protesters. The vote for local district councils is the only fully democratic vote in Hong Kong. Northern England has experienced major flooding over the last couple of weeks, resulting in road closures, power outages, and flooded basements. But local churches have jumped in to lend a helping hand.
As extreme floods have wreaked havoc across the north of England, churches are at the forefront of providing practical and spiritual support to the many families whose lives have been devastated by this disaster. Campus pastor at Legacy Church in Doncaster, Matt Boyle, explains how they were quick to mobilise vital help in some of the worst hit areas.
We went and visited some residents. We just went to see what the need is. We sent a team up to do some clear up in one of the caravan sites. Every single one of those caravans has been completely turned upside down. So we've got two teams out at the moment in two of the worst affected areas, and what they're doing is joining in the efforts with the local community that are there as well. And one of the amazing things is just to see the church come together with the community, and so that people are seeing the church in the most awful of circumstances for them, just shining a light.
Boyle says with the temperatures plummeting and Christmas approaching, they're distributing packs of supplies to help families get through the harsh winter months ahead.
We're also working with local organisations for a Christmas present appeal. Many families we've spoken to, presents have been completely gone. It's not been covered by house insurance. We've also got a couple of hundred people coming in to wrap hampers, gifts, cleaning hampers, and just do some practical things that we can do immediately.
And these volunteers at Legacy Church explain what motivates them to give up their time to lend their support.
Doncaster's in a needy time right now, and as a church we just want to help our community. I'm passionate about people, so yeah, I just really want to just help in the best way that I can.
For me, it's because you can see the devastation on TV, and that's one thing, kind of having the emotion and hoping the people are all right. But for us, it's right on our doorstep, and so we can actually do something about it. So we just wanted to get our heads and our money together and just see how much support we can actually give to the people that are close to us.
This caravan park resident, Stuart, says the help they've received from the church has been a real lifeline at this difficult time.
Churches have been absolutely fantastic, been down with hot foods and drinks and cleaning supplies to help clean up.
So as countless people benefit from this love and action from local Christians like these, it's hoped many will also encounter the saving grace of Christ this winter. Peter Wooding for the Global News Alliance, Doncaster, England.
And recapping one of our top news stories, RCMP and the Coaldale Fire Department are investigating a fatal residential fire in the southern Alberta town of Nobleford. A 27-year-old man perished in that fire. And a look at weekend weather, mainly cloudy tonight with a 30% chance of flurries and a low of -3. For tomorrow, mainly cloudy with a 30% chance of flurries and a northwest wind gusting from 20 to 40 in the afternoon. We should see a high of +1. A Campus Freedom Index was recently released, which lists the top universities and colleges, and the worst, on the issue of freedom of speech. According to the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, the University of Lethbridge scored well compared to many other campuses. That interview is next. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. Come to the Nika Yuko Japanese Garden on Friday, November 29th, as they kick off the season with their Winter Light Festival, which will run until January 31st. On that evening, the gates will open at 6 p.m. with greetings from sponsors and dignitaries at 7. Admission is $9 $9 for adults. Admission is $9 for adults, $7 for kids ages 6 to 15, and ticket packages, which include food and drinks, are also available. For more information, visit nikayuko.com. It's the 28th annual Mayor's Christmas Concert on Saturday, December 7th at Southminster United Church, beginning at 7 p.m. Enjoy your favorite Christmas carols performed by the Lethbridge Community Silver and Gold Bands with special guests Nicole Agnes Davidson's senior and junior choirs. Come take part in this annual tradition and bring along a donation in support of the Lethbridge Food Bank and Interfaith Food Bank's Christmas Hope campaign. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit lcbs.yapcity.com. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.